Welcome to another edition of Coffee with the Goose, where we talk about things that are interesting, fascinating, and irritating. I like to be a little bit of all three, right? By the way, I'm the Goose. Glad to have you back. Let's start with a sip of coffee, shall we? Got to have our caffeine, right? My coffee, as you know, very strong, just like my opinion, and got some creamer in there to make it sweet, just like me. All right, let's get back to boxing, shall we? We're big Pacquiao fans, and of course we're Pacquiao fans. He's one of the greatest ever, maybe the greatest ever, but he's part of an ongoing saga, which I believe is, we can label it the welterweight tournament, the unification tournament. There's 4 different belts, as you guys know, the WBA, WBO, WBC, and the IBF. And they're owned by 4 different fighters, all of them great. What's coming up? We've got a great matchup on September 28th at Staples Center in Los Angeles between 2 of those title holders, Shawn Porter and Errol Spence Jr. Porter is the WBC title holder. Errol Spence Jr. is the IBF champion. And I believe, we're hoping that the winner will take on Manny Pacquiao, who is the WBA title holder. By the way, the oldest welterweight titleist ever at the age of 40. Doesn't look a day over 40, does he? And let's not exclude the other title holder. And of course, that's Crawford, who is the WBA title, WBO champion. But the difference here is, and the reason we're not going to talk about Crawford, is he is not part of the PBC package, the Mayweather-Pacquiao package, if you will. He works for Bob Arum, Pacquiao's former boss. So whether he's going to be involved in this, hey, we don't know. But it's exciting nonetheless. It's probably going to be Pacquiao against the winner of Shawn Porter and Errol Spence Jr. Let's talk about that fight. 2 young champions, and they're both great. Porter from Ohio and Errol Spence Jr. from Texas. Porter has a record of 30 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 17 KOs. Errol Spence Jr., 25-0 with 21 KOs. So they're the real deal. They're both great fighters. What can we expect in this fight? They're completely different, by the way. And again, they're both great. Errol Spence is a very technical and a very heavy hitter, but very technical fighter. He's very skilled, great jab, lots of power, likes to keep his distance, uses reach and height advantage. He's a model boxer. And Shawn Porter, meanwhile, is not a boxer. Yeah, he's got boxing skills, very smart, but he's coming at you. And he's coming at you to beat you up. There's nothing fancy about Shawn Porter. And the way they talk, the way they present themselves, their personalities, completely different as well. Errol Spence, he's a Texas boy, kind of laid back, doesn't say a whole lot, very confident, by the way, but doesn't, you don't see him, not big smiley, hey, how you doing, shucks, folks, good to see you. But Shawn Porter is. Shawn Porter's a lovable guy. All smiles, very sociable, very smart, but he's a beast. He reminds me a lot of Manny Pacquiao in this way. By the way, he used to be a sparring partner for Manny Pacquiao. Keep that in mind. They're both, Shawn Porter rather, smiles, friendly, sociable, just like Pacquiao. And just like Manny, once the bell rings, he's none of those. Jude, can you hand me that little sheet of paper over there? Thank you, bud. Yeah, got some information on there. Porter is a beast. He's in there to hurt you, and then when the fight's over, all smiles again. It's really he's an interesting character. I've seen a couple of press conferences with Porter and Spence. They're friends, by the way. But that friendship, as you know, ends when they step into the ring, and it's interesting watching them. They know each other, they like each other, but when they start talking about the fight, that friendship, that's done. They both look each other straight in the eye and think, no, I'm going to knock you out, and you stand no chance against me. They're both very confident champions. So it's going to be a great matchup. We'll talk about the technical aspect here in just a second, and their styles, very different. But first, I want to talk about their resume. This is one reason why those who think, and the vast majority of people think, that Errol Spence Jr. is going to win this fight. And I say be careful with that prediction, because Porter is a champion, and his resume is infinitely better than Errol Spence Jr. Who has Spence fought? Yeah, he's fought some good fighters. He's 25-0, but he's only fought 25 times. That in itself, well, come on, you haven't shown me you're not a Hall of Famer yet. With all due respect, his latest fight, Errol Spence Jr., was a win against Mikey Garcia, a previously undefeated champion. So on the surface, that's like, wow, okay. I believe Garcia was 34-0. So wow, that's impressive. You schooled him, Errol Spence. You're the man. Well, no, not really. Mikey Garcia moved up 2 weight classes, and very few fighters can do that successfully. And it just wasn't fair. Spence made him look bad, and nobody was impressed with that. That's not something you can brag about on your resume. A win is a win, but come on, Mikey Garcia, a win over him, and he didn't knock him out, by the way. Didn't really even hurt him. It's not that impressive. Now, Sean Porter. Who has Porter fought? Now, I got to hold my notes because the list is very long. Sean Porter has fought Adrian Broner, Thurman, Berto, Danny Garcia, and Ugas. And he's won most of those fights. He lost to Thurman, but that was a very, very close decision. Of these 4 champions that we see now, Porter beat Garcia, Danny Garcia, who was undefeated, and he lost to Keith Thurman, and that was a razor tight decision. I believe they all 3 or 2 of the 3 judges scored at 115, 113. So that was very close. So Sean Porter has been in these wars before against grace, against champions. So don't even begin to compare the experience and the resume of Sean Porter and Errol Spence Jr. It's not even close. So you got to include that. And you folks, and I think I might be one of them, who thinks that Spence is going to win this fight, you better not ignore the fact that Porter's been in these wars many times. And he's never been knocked out. Porter's got a great chin. So what are we going to expect in this fight? Here's one thing they have in common. They're both managed by their fathers. Obviously their dads are doing a great job because they're both champions. They're completely different fighters. Errol Spence Jr., as I said, is a very technical, very skilled, tall fighter with a lot of reach and a lot of power. He's knocked out 21 of his 25 wins, 25 opponents. So he likes to keep the distance and control the action in the ring. Porter, meanwhile, is going to be in your face. He's not going to stand back and let you jab him all night long. He's going to be rushing. And when I say he rushes you, he doesn't do it recklessly. He's in there to fight, not to box. He isn't in there to win points, and dance around like, somebody like Mayweather. He's in there to fight. And so it's going to be a great matchup on September 28th at the Staples Center in LA. How can these guys win? Well, I think Spence can win by keeping the distance. He cannot let Porter get up inside and turn it into a brawl, because if he does, Porter can beat him. There's no doubt in my mind Porter can win. How can Porter win? Well, he can't just let Spence dictate the fight by jabbing him and with his ring IQ, being his ring generalship. He can't let that happen. He can't let the fight turn into a dance, because he can't win like that, and that's not how he fights anyhow. This is going to turn into a brawl. Neither one of these guys has been knocked out, but I think this one will end with a KO. I don't know who's going to win. Okay, none of us really do. And I'm not even going to give you a prediction because I think this is going to be a great fight. Most of you think Spence will win. Many of you think it'll be easy. No. It's not going to be easy. Sean Porter is the real deal. He's a great champion. He's held that WBC title for 2 years now. So, I mean, you better respect Sean Porter. Errol Spence Jr., we've talked about him before. Look, I'm not disrespecting him, okay? That's not what I'm doing. But I'm also, on the flip side, saying don't put him on a pedestal. Errol Spence Jr. has only fought 25 times. He is, of the 6, in my opinion, top welterweights, his resume is the weakest of them by far. Partly because he's only fought 25 times. Look at Pacquiao. He's fought over 70 times. And Sean Porter has fought 33 times. So he's got greater resume. And I think this is going to be a great fight. We're going to do a prediction show shortly before the fight, probably on the 21st or so, the week before the matchup. And I'm very excited. And Pacquiao's going to be there, by the way. I think he's going to scout these guys, and I really think the winner of this fight will fight Manny Pacquiao and further narrow down the list of title holders in the welterweight division, and maybe down the road, Crawford will be part of this equation. But Errol Spence Jr., Sean Porter, September 28th in Staples Center in Los Angeles. It's going to be fun. We're going to watch it, and we'll talk about this more in the coming weeks. That's it for this edition of Coffee with the Goose. Thanks for joining us. We really enjoy your presence and also your subscriptions. There's a lot of folks who are joining the team every day. We really appreciate it. Stick with us. We got many more shows to come, including my own view on who is the best welterweight in the world right now. We've got those 6 great fighters. We'll compare them. We'll look at their resumes, what they bring to the table, and we'll narrow it down and give you my opinion on who's the best welterweight in the world right now. All right? That's it for this edition of Coffee with the Goose. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.